Hello and welcome back to your South King County real estate update. We're back after a couple weeks off, so there is a lot to get through today. I'm going to try and keep it short and sweet, but I am super excited to jump into it. So we'll go ahead and jump right on into these slides. Okay, so today is March 31st, almost April. Tomorrow's April. Once again, the year is flying by. We'll go ahead and find out what happened this week. First of all, thank you so much to those that came out to my home buying for nurses and teachers class this past week. There will be more classes announced soon, so if you missed it, fear not, there will be another opportunity. And if it's something you're curious about and want to schedule a meeting and get your questions answered sooner than our next class, which I think is in about a month and a half, let me know. We can set up a time to go over it together. So just let me know if you want to set up that appointment. And what happened this week? It's been a couple weeks since we've been here, and man, is it a different climate than it was a few weeks ago. So I went from having like 0 people interested in selling their home for quite a while. There was a couple people that I was working with that were looking at selling it in the future. But in the last 2 weeks, my listing appointments have just skyrocketed. There are so many more people interested in buying their home or in selling their home now. I can't believe the difference from just a few weeks ago. The buyers have remained fairly consistent, at least in my business. The buyer demand has always been there. It's just we're short listings. So I feel like we are on the verge of getting a little bit of pop of listings, which, as you'll see in a little bit, is going to be very welcome. There is not really that much on the market right now. So stay tuned. So many homes coming to the market soon. Hopefully we get a decent amount of inventory on the market in the near future, because it's supposed to be our busy season and we're a little bit slow on those stats. So we'll go ahead and jump on back into the slides. And yesterday was the opening night of baseball season. Mariners did take away a win. Super excited about that, 3-0. And I do have schedules available. So it's the beginning of the season. If you want your baseball schedule, just let me know and I will get it on over to you. Just let me know how to get it to you. Send me a message or email or call me and we'll figure it out. But congratulations, Mariners, on your winning opening day. And U.S. housing cools further with prices down 3% from the peak. The beginning of this is national data. Keep that in mind. So nationally, home prices fell about 0.2% from December. That index is down 3% from its record high reached in June. So we had a lot of price growth heading into the first part of the year. And then now we've come down significantly since then. And prices have continued to soften as seller discounts become more common in the market. This is true. I've been hearing this. There's still a number of seller concessions that are happening. But keep in mind that these are Case-Shiller numbers. So I think it's the next slide. It says that these are lagging 2 months. So we just got January numbers. So these are January stats and not super relevant to today's market. Seattle remained among the coolest housing markets in the country, seeing a 1.4 dip in home prices from December to January, the 8th consecutive month-to-month decline. Seattle area home prices peaked in May, as we have talked about before. And since then, from May to January, prices dropped 16.3%. But that's because they shot up at such an incredible rate last spring that they needed to cool down a little bit. It shot up a little bit too much, and we are getting back on to a more normal track with price. And the article says that the housing market is now in what is traditionally the busiest season, which is true. For now, these are January numbers. January is not the most busy season. So I just wanted to point that out about this article before we head on. This came from the National Association of Realtors. February 2023 pending home sales rise for 3rd consecutive month. This is looking at February rather than January's numbers. This is a little more current than the last article. And the pending home sales have risen for 3 months in a row now, which pending sales represent homes that have signed a contract to purchase them, but haven't closed yet. So that can be a month or two leading indicator to the closed sales price. Here in the West, we had the largest dip year over year at 28.4%. So overall, nationally, a year ago, we were at 105.5 on the home sales index, and now we are at 83.2. So we have been increasing for the last few months, but we are still down from where we were a year ago. Not surprising. And here we did have in the West have the biggest decrease in those pending sales compared to the rest of the regions. And that brings us to our market stat minute. So 671 new listings in the last 7 days, 719 pending, and 524 sold. So we see our pendings are still outpacing our new listings here, but only barely. Our new listings have ticked up from a few weeks ago. This has been a gradual thing, but we have seen a lot more listings coming to the market in the past couple of weeks. And for our local area breakdowns, Auburn is still kind of lagging on those new listings compared to the number of pendings there. Everywhere else, the green bar, that new listing bar is reaching much closer to that pending state than it has been in the past. And the last time we met, the weekly average mortgage rate was 6.73 and our daily was 6.76. So pretty consistent throughout the week. Today, our weekly average mortgage rate fell for the third consecutive week to 6.32. Year ago, it was 4.67. And this is really good news for prospective home buyers. This brings down that payment, increases your purchase power, but make sure to step in soon because that buyer demand is going to increase as those interest rates keep coming down. I thought this was a pretty good quote from Freddie Mac's chief economist. Over the last several weeks, declining rates have brought borrowers back to the market, but as the spring home buying season gets underway, low inventory remains a key challenge for prospective buyers. Home sales fell 17.8 in the US from 2021 in 2022. So we were super hot in 2021. And then in 2022, we would have had more home sales if we'd had more inventory, but our lack of inventory made it so that we had a serious decrease in that sales activity. The biggest annual decline since the housing crisis. In the beginning of 2022, we would have had more home sales if there had been more inventory. The second half, we had fewer because of the higher interest rates. So overall, we were down 17.8% for the whole year. This year, we'll see where it goes. We just need that inventory. We got the buyers are ready to make a move. Our daily interest rate is 6.57. We've had a lot of volatility in the market over the last couple of weeks. So the blue line is Mortgage News Daily. So this is our daily report. And you can see we started out, we popped just below 6 at the beginning of February here, and then shot up to over 7 by the end of February, and have been kind of ticking volatilely down since then. So we can kind of expect this downward trend to continue with a lot of volatility from day to day, just depending on what's happening in the news and all that. So if you're thinking about pausing your home search because of mortgage rates, you may want to reconsider. This could actually be an opportunity to buy the home you've been searching for. The rise in mortgage rates is leading some potential home buyers to pull back on their search for new homes. So if you stay the course, you'll likely face less competition among other buyers when you're looking for a home. This is welcome relief in a market that has so few homes for sale. And then this is just another quote that I wanted to throw in here. While 2023 kicked off on a more optimistic note for the U.S. housing market, recent mortgage rate volatility highlights how much uncertainty remains. Nevertheless, the continued shortage of homes for sale is likely to keep price declines modest, which are projected to top out at 3% peak to trough. So we may see some price declines still, but it's not going to be super drastic. And if you're looking at the declining market and the rising market heading forward, sometimes it's better to hit it before it hits the trough, because that trough is hard to time. And you have way less competition with buyers, and sellers are a little bit more desperate in that trough because everything's headed down. When you reach the bottom, it's all going to go up again. And there's going to be sellers that'll be less giving on concessions and things like that, and more buyer competition because things are headed up. So if you get in now, now we don't know when the trough might be here. But if you get in now while it's in a declining market before things start to take off again, that can be best in the long run and make for a better buying experience. So if you are looking to make a move this year, I do have my spring buyer and seller guides available. Tons of helpful tips in here. It's got some national data. So even if you're looking at moving out of the area, this is a very valuable piece for you. So just let me know how I can get it to you and I will send it over. This and my baseball schedules. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. My phone number and email address are on the screen there. I would love to have a conversation with you about the real estate market in your area or an area you're interested in. Thank you so much for joining me for your South King County real estate update. I'll be back next Friday with your local news. Have a fantastic week and see you then.